More people in Germany know the name of the coach of the German national soccer team than of the president of Germany, who is our head of state. Hallo, Servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I'm currently in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I've been living for about 3 years now. So today I'm going to be talking about a topic that a lot of my friends and family will probably find funny, because I'm not exactly known for being an expert in this field, and that is sports. And it's not that I'm not athletic or anything like that, it's just that I don't really enjoy watching sports. And I'm not a competitive person, so I never played any team sports, and whenever I had to in gym class, I always hated it. Which doesn't mean that I look down on sports at all. I still totally understand their significance, and I know that for a lot of people, and probably for many of you guys, sports play a really big role in life. And sports are also a topic that comes up pretty early usually in the list of differences between Germany and the US, so it's definitely time to make a video about it, because the sports culture in Germany is very different from the one here in the US. And all the soccer and especially Bundesliga fans among you, make sure to definitely stay tuned until the very end of this video, because the German Bundesliga club VfL Wolfsburg, I don't know how you guys would say it, VfL Wolfsburg maybe? They sent me a pretty cool gift to give away to one of my viewers, so stay tuned for that. And since this is a pretty big topic, I thought I'd structure this video a little bit. So I'm gonna be talking about which sports are popular in the two countries, then about the differences in the sports culture and how sports are organized in the two countries. And of course, the giveaway in the end. And I also talked to 2 German friends of mine who are much bigger sports fans than me and who came to the US from Germany and experienced the sports culture in Germany and here. And one of them even came to the US to play college football. Okay, so let's get started with the most obvious difference, and that is which sports are popular in the two countries. In America, the most popular sports are American football, baseball, and basketball, and then maybe hockey after that. In Germany, you guys all know this, the most popular sport by far is soccer. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, wait, I thought you guys called it football. And let me clarify something. We speak German in Germany, so we neither call it football nor soccer. We call it Fußball in Germany, the German term. And yes, a lot of Germans do learn British English in school initially, so in that case, we would call it football. But Germany is also a very Americanized country, and American football has become more and more popular. So I personally feel a lot more comfortable calling it soccer in English. Oh, and by the way, what you guys call Fußball, we call that Kicker in German. According to a statistic that I found, more than 50% of all Germans are soccer fans, which means that they follow at least one Bundesliga club. Bundesliga is the German soccer league, so like the German Premier League, which if you haven't heard of the Bundesliga, then you've definitely heard of the British Premier League. So that's the league where all the big clubs compete in within Germany. And apparently it's also the soccer league with the highest average stadium attendance worldwide, which I didn't know before either. There are 18 clubs playing in the first Bundesliga, and then there's also the second and the third Bundesliga, which are the leagues below. And then the teams from all Bundesligas play each other in the DFB-Pokal, the DFB Cup, the German Cup, and the top 3 clubs of the first Bundesliga also qualify for the UEFA Champions League, where they compete with the best teams from all over Europe. A lot of Germans follow all 3 of those competitions, and just to give you an idea, the Champions League final in 2012 between the FC Chelsea and the FC Bayern Munich had over 16 million viewers in Germany alone, which is 19% of the population. And I mentioned that game because that's one that almost everyone in Germany remembers to this day, even me. So soccer is definitely the #1 sport in Germany. And I even read about a survey that showed that more people in Germany know the name of the coach of the German national soccer team than of the president of Germany, who is our head of state. And then after soccer, I would say that some other sports that are fairly popular are probably handball, volleyball, ice hockey, tennis, winter sports, motorsports, basketball, and track and field. But there's really not a big second most popular sport. So whenever there's no soccer season, there's really not a lot of sports to watch in Germany. Whereas in the US, once football season is over in February, there's still basketball going on until June. And then baseball starts in March and goes all the way through September, which is when football season starts again. There are different statistics out there, but from what I found, more than 50% of all Americans consider themselves NFL fans, so fans of pro football, which is about the same number as soccer fans in Germany, except that there are so many other major sports in the US. Two things that are changing in both countries are that soccer is becoming more and more popular in the US, and American football has become a thing in Germany in the last few decades. There are more and more football clubs in Germany, more and more Germans follow the NFL, and a German TV channel has started to cover NFL games every Sunday and even some college games. And the Super Bowl has become a pretty big thing in Germany too. It's like a trend to organize Super Bowl parties, and the crazy thing is that in Germany you have to stay up all night to watch the Super Bowl, but people do that. The German Football League, however, is still an amateur league, so most of the players don't make any money, and if they do, they don't make a lot. And at the same time, soccer too has become more popular in the States. The professional league, Major League Soccer, MLS, was founded in the 90s, and soccer is officially the fourth most popular sport in the US. Here in Cincinnati, for example, they founded a soccer club in 2015, so only 5 years ago. FC Cincinnati is what it's called, but they're already playing in the MLS, and they're in the process of building their own stadium in the city. So let's talk about sports culture. Sports are a huge part of American life. Not only are more than 50% of all Americans NFL fans, but 3/4 of all Americans consider themselves a sport fan. Sports are basically everywhere here. A lot of bars and restaurants have TVs hung up and they're showing the different games that are happening so that people don't have to miss out on them when they're out. And this is not only pro sports, but college sports too. In Germany, we do have sports bars, but a regular bar or restaurant usually doesn't have TVs. In general, a lot of people get together with their families or their friends to watch the games together at a bar or at someone's home, especially on Sundays for football, of course. And when you attend a sports event, it's oftentimes not only about the sport and the game, but about the whole experience surrounding it. So at a football game, for example, there's usually a big opening ceremony, then there is a mascot running around, there are cheerleaders, there's a big marching band, there are games and giveaways during halftime. And especially at baseball games, they also often have fireworks, for example. Personally, I've never actually been to an NFL game, only to college football games, because they're usually free for students and not a sports fan. But that's still a crazy experience and an amazing experience. I wouldn't do it otherwise. And for those of you who haven't watched my video on college in the US and who aren't familiar with college sports here, just to give you an idea, the University of Cincinnati's football stadium holds 40,000 people and has basically everything that a professional stadium has too. So sports events are oftentimes like a huge party, and that even starts before the actual game starts with something that we don't have at all in Germany: tailgate parties. Tailgates are gatherings before a game where people share drinks and food, and they usually take place in the parking lot of the stadium, but they can also take place on a university's campus or all around campus at fraternity places or people's homes. And the main part is that people have their cars there, and so out of their open trunks, their open tailgates, they give out the food and the drinks, or they have set up a grill or an extra table with food. And then there's also often speakers for music or even live music. In Germany, sports events are oftentimes more about the game itself. And in general, Germans aren't as enthusiastic when it comes to showing their affiliation with something, whether that be a school or university or even a sports club or a band that they like. People in Germany buy and wear a lot less merchandise than they do here. But, of course, that kind of changes when it comes to soccer. Soccer fans oftentimes already sing and drink on their way to the game, which in Germany often takes place by public transportation. So on a game day, it's common that you'll see soccer fans walk through the city, sing on the subway, and, of course, even more so after a win. In the stadium, of course, the drinking continues. A lot of fans do choreographies in the audience. And unfortunately, there's also a negative part to soccer culture: hooligans. Hooligans are violent fans who use the game as an excuse to vent their aggressions, mostly against the fans of the other team, of course. So unfortunately, violence, destruction, and sometimes even fireworks can take part on the sidelines of a soccer game too. The fans at home either pay to watch the Bundesliga games on Saturdays because they're not on free TV, they listen to them on the radio, or they just watch the summaries on TV Saturday night in a very popular show called Sportschau. And during a World Cup or a European Cup, it almost seems like the whole country goes crazy and enters a parallel universe. Almost everyone watches the games then, and there are huge public viewing events at big places in the city or big stadiums, restaurants, beer gardens. It's really insane, and it was especially insane when we hosted the World Cup in 2006 and when we won it in 2014. In 2014, I watched the final at a big public viewing at the Munich Olympic Stadium. And after we won, everyone went into the city to celebrate, mostly to the Munich street Leopoldstraße, but also all around it. All the streets were blocked, people were going crazy, drinking, celebrating, singing, and there were so many people out that the public transportation of this 1.5 million people city was overloaded, so you couldn't get around anymore really. And so I remember that I walked through half the city just to get home, and I didn't get home until the morning, but it was an amazing experience. Now, talking about sports culture, I talked to 2 German friends who were already huge sports fans before they came to the US, and I asked them how they experienced the differences.
I came to Duke as a sports fan, but then when I moved to the US from Germany, athletics and sports fanatism was taken to a whole new level. Even if you're not a sports fan and you mainly choose Duke for its, top 10 academics in the country, you don't have a chance. Eventually you will get sucked into the whole Duke basketball cult. There is this huge game once a year, Duke UNC. It's considered to be the biggest rivalry in all of college sports. It's so hyped up that Duke students even tent outside of our basketball stadium for up to 8 weeks, depending on how long the season lasts. Yes, we all do have very nice, cozy dorm rooms that our parents or ourselves are paying for. And yes, those games tend to take place in either February or March, which during that time, it's still pretty cold in North Carolina. So occasionally it does snow during that time. So it's just crazy what we're willing to do. We sleep in those tents. I've done it, and I've been to a lot of sporting events throughout my entire life, but the Duke UNC game was probably the best sporting event I've ever been to. And then you don't have to forget these athletes who are competing in these high-stake games. They're actually our classmates. We either live in the same dorm with them, we have class with them. I had class with Grayson Allen, who is one of the most known college basketball players of all time, arguably, and he's now in the NBA. So it's just a different level of fandom and loyalty. So it's definitely something that is very unique to American culture, to American college culture, but also kind of a different subset of US sports culture, which I think is just so much fun. And yeah, really enjoyed it.
So I played in the German Football League, and we played in front of a lot of people in Stuttgart. There's a big stadium that we played in. That was my first game, and my nerves are oh my god, this is crazy. But just the hype is not there. It's just treated like another sport in Germany, and here's almost like a religion. As a football athlete, it's a very different lifestyle than it would be if you play football in Germany, because when I was doing my high school graduation, my Abitur in Germany, it was a lot of focus on that. And in the United States, if you play football, even in high school, school ends at the same time for everybody. So people just go straight to practice. And then we have practice for like 2 to 3 hours. Then we have a lifting session for another hour. Then on the weekends, we have lifting sessions, film sessions. It's just a whole day thing, a whole life commitment, really. And even for people who are younger, they will commit so much out of their day to the sport, and you have practice every single day. While in Germany, it's usually just like once or twice a week because people just have vastly different schedules. It's just the priority is like right after school, while in Germany, it's just like, club sport.
Now, how are sports organized in the two countries? As I've already mentioned, there are pro leagues in both countries, but then below that, it varies a little bit. In Germany, we have amateur leagues, and in the US, there's college sports. College sports are a huge deal and a big part of the universities. Being a student athlete is a big honor, and they usually get amazing scholarships, and it's the main way into the pro leagues. American universities usually put a lot of money into athletics, but they also make a whole lot of money with it, usually millions of dollars through ticket sales, media rights, merchandise, and donations. And before college, younger students usually play sports in middle and in high school and compete with other school teams. And then later, for adults, there's always hobby leagues, after work leagues, and the most popular sport to play, by the way, is not football but baseball, which I thought was interesting. And for kids and teens, soccer is also very popular to play. In Germany, college sports aren't a thing at all, and neither are school sports in secondary schools. I think some schools do have school teams. I think my gymnasium, my secondary school, had a soccer and a field hockey team, if I remember correctly. But if schools do have a team, it's not a huge deal, and I've personally never watched a school game in Germany. Sports in Germany are organized outside of school in clubs. Vereinssport is what we call it. So when a kid wants to play soccer, they can just join the neighborhood club, or they can try out for the youth team of like a Bundesliga club. So a lot of kids do this. They play sports in clubs, and the clubs have different leagues to compete with each other. A downside of this is definitely that a lot of clubs don't have a lot of money to invest, like some American schools do. But then one thing that I think is really cool is that a lot of people play for their clubs way into adulthood because they don't have to switch teams or quit when they graduate. And since we've talked so much about soccer today, I'm happy to announce that I partnered with the German Bundesliga club VfL Wolfsburg, and they sent me this amazing jersey signed by the whole team, and I'm going to give this to one of you guys. This is what it looks like. It's a size medium, has like a nice little Bundesliga logo on the side, and this is what you have to do. You need to be a subscriber of my channel, which I hope you already are, of course. Give this video a thumbs up. And then, since I'm picking the winner together with the club, go to the VfL Wolfsburg US Twitter page. I'm linking this in the description below. Go to their Twitter page and then like and retweet the tweet that they just posted about this video. So 4 easy steps to win this amazing Bundesliga jersey. And I'm going to announce the winner in my video description of my next video next Sunday. So good luck, everyone. Viel Glück. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on sports. I would definitely love to hear your experiences with sports in the US, sports in Germany, or sports in another country. So if you have anything to share, feel free to do so in the comments below. If you like what I do, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for free. Follow me on Instagram, and I hope I'll see you next time. Tschüss!